Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back again with a personal manifesting story while teaching you along the way this week. We're going to do this for, a couple more weeks, and then you're going to get to hear from the Fab Four, which are four amazing ladies that started all together 2 years ago. And so you get to hear just how they've supported each other, how they've grown together, all that. That episode is coming up. Lots of fun things. Today we are talking about a condo that I manifested, and I love this story because I didn't really want this condo, as I will share with you, and yet I couldn't not buy it. And I manifested $10,000 by buying this condo. And so I'm going to tell you how that ties into Manifest 10K and how it ties into living your champagne life and writing that and all of these fun things that come along. So that's what we're going to talk about today is really trust in how the universe supports you and how we're always living in that energy that we've created. And sometimes we can stop it. We can choose to say no. And when we choose to say yes, we're just opening up and we're allowing the universe to give us more. We're allowing ourselves to indulge more in what we want. So I am excited about this topic today. I'm also excited about lots of other things. Personally, I'm super excited about our new deck that we got that is extending the pool deck. A couple months ago, I don't know what it was. We were talking and what do we want to do with our yard because it's coming together. It was sort of this mess. It was definitely a mess when we moved in, and now it's coming together and we're kind of giving areas their spaces. There's the turf and all of the kids' playgrounds, and there's, other things. And now we have a secret garden and we have a shed, and we were just talking about, and we want to extend the pool deck because we want more places to sit, especially next year, intending that life will be more open and there will be more people around and we'll get to have the parties that we planned on having. And so, we said, okay, let's check out with the concrete guy. And I had this number in mind. I said if it's $2,000, we're going to do it, and just because that's what I felt like I wanted to invest right now. I can wait on anything. We're not in a hurry, but if it was available for that right now, we'd do it. I'd love it. It'd be done for next summer. So it wouldn't be like a next spring project. It would be done. And the concrete guy came and it was a little more than we expected. And it just didn't feel inspired to say yes. We were like, no, we'll wait on that for sure. And also I wanted to, it was an opportunity if he wasn't busy to help him out as well, but he's really busy. So that's awesome for him. And also just, wasn't the place to invest our money. And so it felt really good. And as the shed has evolved and we've connected with a new guy, the guy that built our shed, we're going to be able to get Trex instead of concrete, which is going to be awesome because I wanted something different. I didn't want just more concrete, but I wasn't sure what. And so just following the crumbs of inspiration have led to this. And so now we have this beautiful deck that's going to extend our pool deck. We're going to move the fence next summer and just have more space to have more fun. And it feels like a really good thing to do in this space that was a little bit awkward, but now it feels like a great use of space. And so I'm just excited about having it, but I'm also excited about how it came together and how, the lessons that I'm teaching you right now, they still come into play. This is what I do every single day. That would be awesome. Okay, let's follow inspiration over here. Okay, that doesn't feel good. Okay, let's just wait. Let's follow inspiration over here, and how it's all taken care of, and how when we just let go and set intentions, saying, I want to do this for $2,000, allowing the universe to give the path for that to happen is really awesome. And being unattached, not needing to figure out how, just being like, this is honoring, it's not even an intention really. It was like, this is what would feel good in this moment. If it's a yes, awesome. If it's not, that's okay too. And so I just love how all of these lessons keep coming and I keep using the same things. And it's really fun to see it in some of the smaller things. I'm kind of talking about the bigger stories on this podcast, and I love seeing it in, I wouldn't call it smaller because it's not smaller, but I think from an outside perspective, maybe when we're talking about manifesting a condo versus manifesting a $2,000 deck, it looks different. And yet it's those simple things that I love because it's an everyday thing. I love the big stuff too, don't get me wrong. I love sharing the stories that I'm sharing with you. So thank you for tuning in and coming back and listening. It has been a pleasure to be back just sort of talking one-on-one with you and sharing these stories and highlighting the things along the way. As I've gotten to be a better coach, I feel like I know how to point out certain things and teach things better. And so I'm just super excited about that. I am also excited about the one-day event that I am doing November 1st to celebrate my Freedomversary this year, which is Learn How to Manifest Money. And it's a live virtual event. So you can go to cassieparks.com and you can click on the link and, join us for the day. It's a day of learning how to manifest money. And we're going to do it. So I'm not going to sit and teach you like these are the steps. We're going to do the steps. We're going to spend and invest a full day immersed in doing it because that's how you learn. You can read book after book after book and it tells you how to do it, but we're actually going to do it. So you get that experience, you get the feel, you'll know what it's like. You'll just get to know what it feels like to be in the creation and the energy and the momentum of creating what you want and creating more money. You get to literally feel what that feels like. So it'll be super fun. I am excited to have you join us. And again, you can just go to cassieparks.com and click on the tab about the live event. And it's called How to Manifest Money Live Virtual because we're doing it virtual. So you can do it from your living room. It'll be in the middle of winter. And so just curl up with me on a Sunday and we will get that energy going and the momentum going in manifesting more money in your life. I am super excited about that. It's going to be so much fun. And so I hope that you will join me. Just going to be amazing. And I'm super excited about it. So just go to cassieparks.com and check it out. And speaking of manifesting money, I didn't realize I didn't connect it until now, but today is about manifesting $10,000 and this story. And I'm going to call this story the Logan condo. And there was a lot of things. So this condo, where do I want to start with this story? I think I want to tell the story of the condo. So this condo, I don't even know what inspired me. It was just inspired action because I wasn't looking to buy anything. So this condo came up about 4 months after I quit my job. So I have no income because I haven't built, I haven't built a record of having a coaching income. I really hadn't even had that much coaching income because it only came about 6 weeks to 2 months after I had written Money, Money, Money and had launched that after the launch, right? And actually, that's not true. Let me go back. I confuse sometimes the beginning of those years. It was about a year after. And so while I had made the most money I'd ever made in my coaching, I had not really, I had nowhere come close to my income. And I didn't need to, right? Because when I left my job, I was okay. Like I had enough money, I had enough passive income to pay my bills, and that was okay for me. And I knew when I left that it would be a while before I could invest in any more properties. And that was okay because I didn't need to. I was financially independent. I had enough money to live off of. I'm doing what I love. I'm building my coaching practice. I'm doing all of the things that I want to be doing. And so it was okay. It was perfect, right? And it's about a year after I've released Money, 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 the program. So I've made, in my first 5-figure coaching year, before that, I'd only ever made like a couple $1,000s in my coaching practice. But that year I made money. I had written my first book, Money Mindset for a Champagne Life. And I had been inspired. This is a super important part of the story. I had been inspired to write Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life. And if you haven't heard of these books, you can grab them on Amazon. Just type in Cassie Parks or the title and they will come up. So I'd written Money Mindset for a Champagne Life. And it wasn't that long after it was released, maybe a month. My mentor was getting ready to do her first Write a Book in 3 Days event. And I just kept having this thing come up. You need to write a book about investing in real estate. You need to write a book about investing in real estate. And it just like I tell my clients, inspiration, the way you know it, it doesn't go away. So you can't not do it. Like it just keeps coming up, and not in a like I want to or I have to, but just like often in that little voice that's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? And so it kept coming up. And finally I listened and I gave it, because I was like, I'm not going to write this book. I had been taught by my mentor, in a lot of ways, that book is awesome and it does build my brand, but there were reasons not to write a book about that at the time. And they were just simply for energy and momentum. Like we wanted to build on the money stuff, which it is money stuff, but there were just reasons that don't totally make sense now, that why I was like, this isn't the time to write this book, right? But I kept putting the inspiration down and it kept showing back up. So it was a couple days before the event. She might have even been at the event. And I emailed her. Oh, it was a couple days before, because I emailed her and I said, I have to write this book. It just keeps coming up. It's inspiration. Do you want any extra stories with your 3-day program? Because I would love to tag on virtually and just be a success story about this. And she was like, yeah, that would be amazing. And if you could get here in 2 days, you could totally come and stay with us. And for whatever reason, I didn't want to do that. It didn't work. It didn't feel good. I said, no, I'll just do it at home. You give me the schedule and I'll join you. She's like, all right. And so that was like Friday. And I think the event was Monday. And so over the weekend, I wrote the outline, and Monday I started writing. And by Wednesday night, the book, Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life, was finished. And this, again, is really important because it's about the energy that I was in. I mentioned last time, I feel like I'm always talking about it, but we're always creating, not just when we sit down and go, what do I want? Or not just when you're making a vision board at the beginning of the year. You are always creating. You are always creating the energy that you are in and the energy that shows up next. And so, of course, I had been doing my own manifesting work. I've been scripting. I have been, continuing to script, continuing to do Manifest 10K and all of those things. And for a year, since I had left my job. And I had written my first book. I had released it in December, and then we're now in January of 2015. And January, February, I don't remember. Anyway, so I write this book in 3 days, and I am in the energy of real estate. I'm in the energy of, the numbers, because I shared in that book like my formula and how it worked and what my rate of return I wanted to be and how I would make my choices and how it creates money and how it created money for me in a very fast way. And I'm sharing all of that, and I'm leading, the reader step by step through this process. And so 3 days, I am intently in this energy of real estate. Again, I had only been away from my job for about a year. I hadn't established anywhere near the income that I had. I had enough to pay my bills, and I kept my bills very low. And so I just didn't see any way I was going to get a loan to buy a new property. So I wasn't really looking, but I was inspired. And it wasn't because, I want to make this clear. So it wasn't like, oh, I just wrote a book on real estate. I should check out more real estate, right? I am inspired to write this book. I write it in 3 days. Awesome. We're going through the editing process. And some random day, a couple weeks later or a month later, whatever it was within 6 weeks, I randomly looked up real estate in Denver because I like doing that. And I found this place and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great deal. But in my mind, I'm like, I can't buy this. Nobody's going to give me a mortgage at this time. And I was okay with that. And yet I took my realtor and went to see it. And I'm like, oh man, this can make money. Like this is a good deal. And at the same time, I was like, I don't want it. I could see the potential. I could work the numbers. And I was like, but I don't really want it. Like I had this feeling, I was like, I don't really want this condo. Like it's, and which is part of what I do, right? I like to be excited about the things that I buy, and it was neutral. It wasn't not exciting. It was really cool. I thought it was cool. It was in a cool location. It was 2 bedrooms. It had a industrial feel. It was really cool. But I just didn't want it. And yet at the same time, the way that I couldn't not write Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life, this property kept coming up and it was like, buy it and buy it. And things just fell into place. Like there was an opportunity. I had some money. I had cash that I could use for part of it. And then it just so happened that it worked out that someone else was selling something and didn't really, it was actually my sister. She didn't need the money at the time. And, she didn't know what she's going to do with it. And I was like, do you want to put a mortgage on, I can pay you a mortgage? And for her, that was like, yeah, that feels really good. And it was an idea I just threw out there because she didn't need the money for anything. She didn't know what she was going to do with it. She didn't know if she wanted to invest it in something. And this was an opportunity for her to make money on it in a very safe way. And so I just threw it out there and she's like, yeah, that sounds great. I'll get money every month. I won't be, it won't be sitting there. It'll be making money. And, and I knew enough to know once I had established rent on it, I could go get a mortgage. So if she ever needed that money in the next couple of years, I could go get it, because once it's just easier. Once there's a tenant and it's established, that works a little bit different than just going out and buying it. And so, I knew that I could do it in a year or two, and she was fine with that. But I never saw that coming. It was just the timing of when she sold a property and she was in the space, and it was total inspiration to say, would you be interested in this? And again, I was totally detached because I didn't really want this place. Something in me, not in a bad way, nothing was like, don't buy it, but I had no pull to buy it except for that it kept coming up and I couldn't not buy it. And that is really a great example of trusting inspiration, is trusting that, yes, even when logically it doesn't make sense or it doesn't. And again, it wasn't that it didn't feel good. It felt good to buy it. I just didn't really want it, but it was in my lap, and I just something inside wouldn't let me let go of it. And it was just that trust. It was inspired. And when you are leveraging the power of the law of attraction, trust and inspiration are so important. Being able to feel that inner pull, because the universe is always supporting you however it can. So whatever you want, your big dream, your big thing, the universe is working to find the quickest and easiest path to get you what you want. And often, almost always, that doesn't look like how you think it's going to look or how you think it should look or how you want it to look often, because the quickest path is something that you can't see generally, right? You can have an idea in your mind, but if you think the quickest path, you're howling it. It's that space, it's that open, and allowing that is really where the magic is. And so the universe will find the quickest way to support you that it can. And which I just trusted. I trusted that I couldn't not buy this place, and everything fell into place easily. Literally just fell into place. And so I bought it. And so I want to back up just a little bit to the writing Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life. Again, I was in that energy of how powerful real estate was and making money. I had been in that energy for 3 days. And whenever it only takes 3 days to change our brains, the pathways change. And so it wasn't like I didn't believe in real estate. I totally did. I believed in it. But being immersed so intensely in it for 3 days really amped it up in my brain and amped it up in my focus and what I was seeing. And so of course I was led to this. Of course inspiration was here. And I could have said no and it would have been fine. But the thing inside me was saying, buy this place, buy it, buy it, buy it. And I just kept getting pulled, right? And I wasn't chasing it. I just kept getting pulled and it kept working out. Well, I wanted to try out a management company at that time. There's a couple other things and I'd had them come out, give me an estimate because I was like, this is how I'm going to do this. And anyway, so after I bought it, it just didn't rent for what I wanted it to. And, I went back to like, I don't love this. I don't want it. And so I put it back on the market and I sold it for I made $10,000 even with the realtor fee. I made $10,000 more than I bought it for. I made $10,000 in about 90 days. Probably less than that, but in 90 days I made 10 grand on this property because I trusted and I followed that inspiration to go look at a place when I wasn't looking to buy. The inspiration and the not chasing, because I'd already worked on my money mindset and I wasn't chasing anything. So things could come to me and following that inspiration to just ask, hey, would this work for you? Would this be a good situation to give me a mortgage on this? And following that said yes. And then following when I'm like, I don't want this anymore, right? And not judging it, just going, okay, let's just put it back on the market. And I made $10,000 in 90 days on that property. And that was also the lead in. I was getting ready to change money to manifest 10K. And I can't honestly remember if the 10K, like I started working on 10K first, or it was I made 10K and that was part of the inspiration that led to changing money to manifest 10K. But it was all working together, and it's always all working together. When you do the work and you're constantly creating this future life that you want and you're stepping into it and you're honoring it and you're following inspiration, you can't help but get things that you want in ways that you didn't even see coming. So of course I'm always, manifesting money. I'm always creating money. I'm always doing that work. I'm always growing my personal money story, always. And so naturally the universe can give me a way to make 10 grand in 90 days. And that is huge because I had evidence for myself of manifest 10K. Again, before I even really made that shift, that's what happened. And knowing that I know I can manifest money, but having sort of that concrete, as I started to teach, having that concrete thing was huge for me when I was intentionally trying and following my system. I'd always followed my system, but it's a little different when you put it on paper and then you follow it again. And just the amazingness of it. And I totally attribute it to continually doing the work and following that inspiration. If I hadn't followed the inspiration to write Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life, I don't think it would have led there. And that book was about getting me to that 10 grand. It wasn't necessarily about the book, even though it's amazing. And when my clients do find it or people find it, they love it. But the book wasn't about, the book was just part of the path. It wasn't the path. And so often people get caught up because they think, oh, like write the book and get 10 grand. No, like inspiration, write the book to be in the energy and the 10 grand follows. I love this story. It is one of my favorite stories because it was so into the trusting and so into the inspiration. And because I had built those muscles of trust and inspiration and knowing I just have to follow this. I could trust that even when it wasn't renting, like, oh, all right, then there must be something else, right? I didn't have to go into like, oh, I messed up. Oh, this or that, la, 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 right? I didn't have to do any of that because I knew it was inspired. And so I knew it was part of the path and I could trust that fully. And that is how I manifested $10,000 in 90 days on my Logan condo. Trust, inspiration, continually doing the work, and understanding that being in the energy, right? So it's important to choose what energy you are in and make sure that it supports where you want to go. You know, writing that book, I love that. I love that energy. And, you know, you could say like, I don't know, maybe someone can make an argument against that being the energy of where I wanted to go, but it was sharing, it was educating, it was saying money can be easy. It was absolutely in the energy of where I was going. And the universe supports you in magic ways when you allow it. So I hope you have enjoyed this story as much as I have enjoyed sharing it with you. It is one of my favorites. I intend that you take from this following inspiration and the trust that comes with it. And when you follow inspiration, you can trust whatever it is. And I also hope that it's opened up your mind even more to the fact that often we don't know how the money is going to come in. I couldn't have planned this, right? And if I did, I probably would have messed it up somehow. Because it's that allowing and that trust and that inspiration that gets us to where we want to go when we're doing the work and we're being in the energy that we want more of. So go out there, create something magic today, and stay in the energy of what you want more of. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn more about enrolling in the Enchanted Circle, go to cassieparks.com.